Hey, what's up? Joe McCall here. This is the Real Estate Investing Mastery Podcast. Well, today we're going to be talking with a bank that will also actually help you implement Profit First. It's a Profit First bank, which blows me away when I saw this. This is such an important topic. I'm going to be talking about it for the rest of my business career. As long as I'm in business, as long as I have a platform, you need to understand your numbers and cash flow. You need a bank like Relay. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. And I'm excited about this. I'm passionate about it. I just found out about Relay a month or 2 months ago. It's really awesome. It's amazing. We're going to share a little bit about their platform. I have Deanna here. We're going to interview and talk about what Relay is. It's an online bank for people who are implementing Profit First. It's crazy and it's amazing and it's exciting. Are you ready to go into this? All right. If you want more information, we've got a special deal where if you open an account with Relay, you get a $50 credit if you open an account through my link. You have to do it through my link. If you go to joemccall.com/bank, joemccall.com/bank. If you're watching this, we'll have it live down below here in a minute. You get a free $50, I'm not sure what it is, a credit or a gift certificate or something in your account if you open up through my link, joemccall.com/bank. Now, I do get a small referral fee for doing this, but I would still be, I say this all the time, I would still be recommending this even if I didn't get anything from it, okay? So should we bring Deanna on? Deanna, how are you? Are you unmuted?
I'm unmuted. Hey,
nice,
Joe.
it's working. It's working.
Yes. Thank you for having me on today. This is exciting.
Well, I told you my story. You're not like, oh my gosh, what did I get into? You're like not wanting to leave, are you? You've probably heard that story from a lot of different people, right? Like, usually I have to get hit over the head a couple hundred times before it finally clicks what I need to be doing, right?
Yeah. Or hit over the head with the Profit First book a few times, maybe.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So talk about Relay. Relay is a bank, and but it's not called Relay Bank. It's just called Relay, right?
Yeah. So Relay is a online business banking platform. We are fully virtual. We offer free banking for small businesses, and are probably the most friendliest bank out there for implementing Profit First.
Nice. And you're going to share your screen in a minute to kind of show how it works. But where are you guys located? You're a 100% online bank, right?
We are, yes. So actually, most of the Relay team is actually in Canada. So I'm joining the call today from Toronto, which
Cool.
is definitely different. But we work with only U.S. registered businesses, so we have no physical locations. However, we're a little bit different how we're structured. So Relay is actually what's called a neobank, and a neobank is a fintech company built on top of a partner bank.
Okay.
So our physical partner bank has their main location in Tennessee. They've been operational since like 1906, but they're how we're FDIC insured. They're how we have banking capability. So that's where our banking partner is located, but Relay is fully virtual. So you can bank from wherever.
So Relay is still FDIC insured because of your relationship with the bank in Tennessee.
Exactly.
You don't sound like you have a Canadian accent. Are you from the U.S.?
No, I'm not from the U.S., but so many people say that. Usually
you need to work on your Canadian accent, eh? I used to live in Edmonton, Alberta, so.
Oh, no way. Okay, so you know all about it.
Yeah. Okay, so joemccall.com/bank. Everybody should go there right now. Get a free $50 gift for signing up for an account. But why Profit First? Why have you guys decided to really focus and target on those business professionals who need to implement Profit First? And then what does Relay do to help them with that?
Yeah, it's a great question. And when people are implementing Profit First, or when you're reading the book or you listen to Mike's story, you connect so well to his story and to the results, right? You want to see that in your business immediately. And what the challenging part of Profit First is actually getting started and executing the setup that they have for you. And usually that actually comes in with the bank, right? You head to your bank, even if you've been with them for 20 years. When you say, hey, I want 4 or 5 extra more checking accounts, they might look at you like you have 3 heads, right?
Yeah, they'll look at you cross-eyed.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And if you do kind of beat them over the head and get them to allow you to open those accounts, the next question is typically, well, what's this going to cost me for 4 or 5 extra accounts at my bank? So the execution of setting up Profit First is usually the biggest challenge, or if you do get there, it's expensive. So Relay has always had functionality really well paired with Profit First. And we decided to go into a partnership together because they know that on their side too. The only thing hard about Profit First is getting started. So
Yes.
why not partner with a bank? So when somebody is interested, it's a clear path forward. We can get you set up in 10 minutes online. So it's been a pretty great experience so far partnering with Profit First.
And the cool thing about this too is this isn't something that you just kind of do on the side. Like if you go to your homepage, it's right there on the homepage. And
Yeah.
it's a big emphasis for you guys. And I think this is so important for small business. Listen, anybody watching this, if you have a small business, if you're trying to get into real estate, maybe you've already opened an account somewhere else, but like you need to seriously look at this and get prepared for it. Because when you start making more money, it gets harder the bigger you get to get started. You need to get started now when you're small and you're growing your business. Okay, so let's talk about what Profit First is. Okay, I kind of mentioned it a little bit, but will you dive a little deeper into, your understanding of how it works?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually went through the Profit First professional training myself in earlier this spring, so I'm very well acquainted with
Good.
it. For those of you that are newer or just starting with Profit First, it's a great cash flow methodology to start paying yourself first. A lot of entrepreneurs in the US leave themselves for last. So it's truly in the name, you're paying yourself out first as a business owner. And the whole point is to eradicate entrepreneurial poverty. And that's what
Yeah.
Profit First does. And you accomplish this by having separate bank accounts, one for your owner's pay, one for your income, your tax, your profit, your operating expenses. So the point
So
is, you're not looking.
that's so good.
Mhm.
You're separate buckets. It's really, really simple. It's not rocket science. You have separate
Exactly.
buckets where money comes in one thing and it funnels into these other buckets, right? All right.
Mhm.
So are these treated like separate bank accounts, or are these just buckets online?
In Relay, they are separate bank accounts.
Okay.
So many options out there will allow you to have sub accounts or an envelope system, but these are true individual checking accounts. So
Yeah.
unique account and routing numbers, and they will show as such in your accounting software too.
Yeah. That's key. That's really, really important there.
It
So,
is,
okay.
yeah.
Explain Profit First from top down. Like money comes in. Most entrepreneurs are what Mike McCallowitz calls checkbook entrepreneurs, where we just look at the checkbook and whatever's in there, that's what we can spend our money on, right?
Yeah.
But when every dollar that comes in, we should be taking out certain amounts. Talk about the target amounts of what should be going in each of those buckets again, would you?
Yeah, absolutely. So just like you said, a checkbook business or a one bank account, right? That's, I think, what everybody can relate to too, is you're looking at one account and thinking, do I have enough to pay my vendors, to pay myself, to meet all my bills? It's challenging. So yeah, so everything gets deposited into your income account. That's where everything will show up, no matter how many times you have deposits coming in a month. And then twice a month, you're able to distribute into your other four accounts. So the targeted percentages for Profit First would be 50% heading over to your owner's pay bucket, 30% over to your operating expenses, 15% to tax, and 5% to profit. But of course, those are target percentages. Not every business can start out that way. So it's just a nice goal to have in mind, and you can start anywhere underneath there, whatever works for you.
Yeah, some people, like if you're just getting into this and you're already running a business, you might just be able to do 1% profit into
Yeah.
your profit bucket, but that's okay. You got to start with something, even if it's a half of 1%, but start with, half to 1%, right? The next would be taxes. Now, we talked about this on the last podcast, but I'll just mention it again. You may say, well, 15%, I pay way more than that in taxes, but this is 15% of the gross revenue that comes in. So when you deduct your expenses and business write-offs and things like that, it'll be much higher than that. But again, this is designed to be so simple. So you do not have to think about it. You don't have to be a CFO, an accountant to understand this. Money comes in, it goes into about 4 or 5 different buckets, however many you want. Profit, number 1. Owner's pay could be number 2. But for me, I do taxes. I am definitely afraid of the IRS. So number 2 for me is the IRS. Number 3 is owner's pay. And then whatever's left, about 40, 50%, will go to your operating expenses. And when you do it this way, guys, you'll always be profitable. And doing it this way helps you know your numbers. It forces you to know where the money is coming from and where it's going to. Anything else you want to add to that?
No, it sounds pretty good. I would say just what people get hung up on is how do I do the math? Do I have a separate spreadsheet? Are my percentages where I should be? And that's actually something Relay can help you with. So I'm excited to share that part.
Yeah, let's share your screen. Can you go ahead and share your screen there, and I'll try to make sure this works.
Okay, fantastic. So as I mentioned earlier, Relay is a virtual business bank, and our core services are free. So whether that's opening your checking accounts, making basic payments, we've got direct connections to accounting softwares you might use like QuickBooks Online and Xero. We are FDIC insured. But what's important, I always like to point out here, is there's no sign up fee, there's no monthly fee, and no minimum balance requirement. And Joe, I know you mentioned you've got a lot of first-time real estate investors that are part of your community, and that's something to think about, right? If you don't have a lot of cash flow coming in or out, it can be expensive to get a bank account started. So it's nice to know about a free option out there.
So this is cool. What you're looking at here is your balance. That's the total balance in all the accounts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have 4 or 5, 6 buckets there: OpEx, operating expenses; owner's pay; profit. I mean, you earn interest on these, or just some of them, or
Yeah, so you'll see there's the little green highlight on top of the profit and the taxes. So if your bank does offer savings accounts, that's what Mike will suggest for your savings is profit
Yeah.
and tax, because you'll be touching those the least. So you can have 2 per business on Relay, and they can earn 1 to 3% depending on how much you're keeping in those accounts.
Cool. All right. So what is income over there? What's the income bucket for?
The income bucket would be for all of your deposits. So whether you're accepting customer payments or rent directly in there, if you have your PayPal, your Stripe, your Square account, everything would get deposited into that.
Oh, so that's the income. That's the first bucket everything comes in at, right?
Exactly. And something nice about Relay is you can actually reorder how you view these checking accounts at any time. So
That makes
now I
more
have
sense to me.
first.
Okay.
There you go.
So
I was
income's
playing
not
before.
Yeah. Okay, income's not a bucket. Well, it kind of is, but it's not one of the ones that are on the bottom.
Yeah.
All right, so then each of those have their own account number. Can you get checks or debit cards from each of those, or how does that work?
Yeah, so Relay doesn't offer checkbooks today. However, we will print and send checks on your behalf for free. So you're able to send it from any checking account you'd like. And yes, absolutely, you can set up debit cards. Each business can actually have up to 50, and you can create them at any time.
Oh, this is so cool. Do you understand what we're talking about here? Like in each of those buckets, you could have a debit card for your OpEx, for your, if you could have another bucket for maybe managing your properties, like repairs for your properties. And then you could have a debit card, which is like a MasterCard or Visa. You can be used anywhere MasterCard, Visa is accepted to pay for those things. Maybe you have a bucket for rehab money, right?
Exactly.
And then if you have payroll, that you can, if you're using a payroll company, they can connect to that payroll account. Mm-hmm. Wow, this is cool.
Yeah, and you have that option exactly when you're creating the card. So choose exactly which checking account it's connected to. They can be physical or virtual cards. And let's say maybe you're not a first timer. Maybe you've got some project managers, maybe property managers out there. You can create cards for anybody on your team, but also have full control over them. So you can freeze or terminate the card. You can update the daily and monthly spending limits, change the PIN. So it's really customizable, which I think is not something we're used to in the banking industry.
No, that's really simple and looks really intuitive.
Yeah, very intuitive.
Each of those accounts can have their own physical cards.
Yeah.
When you do online bill pay, I do online bill pay a lot.
Yep.
Show what that looks like. So you can send online checks or through the mail or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Through.
Yeah. You definitely can. So on Relay, we offer next day ACH for free. So that's the fastest and cheapest way to pay anybody on Relay. But you can also send checks, of course.
Oh, so that is really cool there. Can you receive ACH payments as well?
Absolutely. You can receive ACH wire and checks for free on Relay.
Okay, this is a big deal. I don't know if you all know this, but not every bank does that. That's cool. I'm excited about that. Because it's hard to get that.
So I do just want to correct just one thing here, Joe. Yes. So you can accept and send ACHs for free, but you could not pull an ACH from a client or a renter's account. They would have to push it from their end. Yeah.
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
don't have the receivables function there. We send and receive for free.
yeah.
And what I think is also important about that is a lot of banks will charge you to receive wires. I actually had a business switch to Relay specifically to receive wires, and they saved about $12,000 a year on that
Wow,
alone.
that's a
Yeah.
big deal.
And I know
Okay.
for a lot of purchasing properties, wires come into effect, right? You need to send money fast. So you can do that on Relay too. Domestically, it's $5, and internationally, it's 10.
Yeah. But cool thing to do with bill pay is you can send a business check through bill pay. I
Yeah.
don't know. I still probably 75% of my bills that I'm paying through my bank go through check through the mail because I
Hmm.
don't know how to send them ACH.
Yeah.
Okay,
Depends
cool. Talk.
Yeah, it depends on the vendor, right? If they'll give you that information. If you're paying the government, they're certainly not going to give you their, their ACH
Yeah,
information.
yeah. Okay, what else?
So, something else that I'd share here specifically for profit first users is you can open these accounts whenever you want. So, you put in a name for this new checking account, select whether it's checking or savings, select if there's somebody else on your team that needs access, and you can create yourself a new account within 5 seconds. So, a lot of the profit first, mentality is when in doubt, open another account, and you're able to set that up whenever you want. Now, another really cool thing about this is obviously Profit First is all about your allocations, and we've got two options for you to run these. So if you are newer to Profit First and you want to, manually move that money and understand how it's moving, you can come in here and do your transfers. So we're going to select to move it from our income account, and we can select multiple accounts to transfer to. Once you have multiple accounts to transfer to, you can do this by dollar amount or by percentage, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So it kind of takes the Excel spreadsheet method away. You don't have to calculate there. But, and Joe, I think this would be interesting for your own business is if you've been doing this for a while and you're ready for some automation, we have something we created specific for Profit First users called the auto transfer
Ooh,
rule.
I was going to ask about this.
Oh yeah. So if many people out there have read the book, you'll know that Mike does suggest doing twice monthly allocations on the 10th and the 25th of the month.
Yeah. Can
And
you explain
so
why that is?
Yeah, so
Is
there's
just
it's an equal billing period between them, so that you're able to zero out your account twice a month, and equal days in between it, no matter where or what month you are in.
yeah, and if you have a bookkeeper or an accountant, they will thank you for this. It just makes everything so much easier when all the bills get paid on certain days. It helps manage your cash flow. It helps you plan and predict things that
Yeah.
are coming and going. So this is important. So what we're setting up here is automatic distribution into these buckets on
Hmm.
the 10th and the 25th of each month.
Exactly. And so we were kind of talking about, what's the purpose of the income account? So that's where again everything gets deposited, and twice a month you can zero that out here on Relay. So we're going to
Wow.
move everything to our other accounts here, and this is just going to run in the background of your business.
Oh my gosh. Do you see that? That's amazing.
It's pretty unheard of to be excited about banking, right?
Yeah, and there's nothing nobody else is doing this.
Yeah. And no matter what starting point you're at for Profit First, whether your percentages look like this or not, whether you
Yeah.
have different accounts, this is meant to run how you run Profit First in your business. So
Yeah.
it's completely customizable.
No, this is really cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, yeah, another thing that usually we talk a lot about here is I'm sure many people that have already started investing in real estate probably have a business bank relationship already. Doesn't necessarily mean that it serves their business well or they're happy with it. Most people are more settled than anything. And Relay does connect to 100% of US banks. So whether it's business or personal, you can connect directly to your bank. It is free to transfer in and out of Relay. So you can see we've got the larger banks listed here. If you bank more locally, you search for it here. But it's very easy to transition over to Relay or maybe keep your personal account connected. Either or, you can kind of look to Relay as your primary bank account to run Profit First out of, but you can still have other relationships going.
Wow.
We're very friendly with other banks.
So what does that mean? Like if somebody had an account with Bank of America, for example,
Mhm,
and they opened up an account with Relay,
mhm.
the money goes to Bank of America, but then explain that again. Then they're just organizing the buckets on your side.
Yeah, so a lot of people, yeah, you would keep the buckets on the Relay side. A lot of people might need a loan relationship or a credit card option. Those are resources that Relay doesn't offer yet. So if that's something you still need for your business, but still want to utilize all of Relay's great features for
Okay.
free, keep that Bank of America account, but keep it, really minimal. We're not using it too much. Maybe we're just transferring some money over a few times a month, but you can use it alongside another bank. We find that idea is just a little bit more digestible than thinking, how am I going to move 100% of my banking? It can be gradual, and you can do it alongside other
Okay.
options.
Super cool. All
Yeah.
right. Anything else? Talk about support, customer support. If somebody has questions, they need some help.
Yeah, it's very important, especially for a virtual bank, right? You can't go in and meet us anywhere physically, so we have to be good at support. That's just something that we have to do in our business. So on every account, when you're signed in, you can come to our support page. So we've got a huge knowledge base here that you can search keywords. You can find articles, screenshots, and videos teaching you absolutely anything you need to do on Relay. But we also have live phone support with real humans answering the phones. We've got email 24/7. We've got a live chat feature as well. So there's always somebody here to help you if you do need it. But at the beginning, I kind of mentioned how Relay is structured and how we are a tech company built on top of the bank. And that just makes our platform a whole lot more intuitive. So less people need help utilizing Relay because buttons are where they should be, features make sense. So you'd be surprised about the lack of support you do need when using something so intuitive like Relay.
And I was just looking. You have an app. You can't
Mm-hmm.
see it there. There's a Relay app. It's got
Yes.
really good reviews, unlike my old bank. Talk a little bit about the app. You can do things there.
Yeah, you can do everything that you can do on the desktop. The one thing that you can do on mobile that you can't do on desktop is deposit checks. So that's what I have pulled up on my screen here. And you're actually able to view this check deposit whenever you need. So just
Nice.
like any other bank, take a photo of the front and the back, but you're also required to leave a note upon depositing. And that's specifically to help, maybe you have a bookkeeper working with you, just answer more questions, and we're able to kind of reconcile this a whole lot easier.
Nice. Okay. Anything else I'm forgetting that maybe we should ask?
Else. I feel like I've got so many things to share.
Well,
Now, we talked a little bit about, how you can create the cards easily, separate it by project, maybe even by property. And what's nice about utilizing the Relay debit cards is when you use them, we will pull the brand names and logos for the businesses you're transacting at. So whether it's you, your staff, your bookkeeper, everybody actually understands the transactions rather than decoding them. But
yeah.
even if you don't recognize the vendor, let's use, Sutter Stockton here as an example, you can click into the transaction and not only get the category, but also this business's phone number, their website,
No
their
way.
address, and map location.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. I mean, at least 3, 4 times a week, my bookkeeper's like, "What is this? Where is this from? What?" And we have to
Yeah.
dig into my emails and look at my bank statement and try to Google some weird word to
Yeah.
find this. But
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So this, even though we think all the answers are on Google, they're still not, right? Your bookkeeper still comes back to you with those questions.
Yeah.
And the bigger your business is and the more transaction you have, the more that you spend time doing that. And that's not why you got into business in the first place, right? So you can keep tasks like this pretty efficient.
Okay. Good. And I know you mentioned this, but easy integration in and out of QuickBooks or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have direct connections to QuickBooks Online and Xero. You connect your bank feed once and you never have to reconnect again. So if anybody here today is familiar with their bookkeeper constantly pinging them to reconnect their feed or what's your
Oh my
password,
gosh.
you know too well, right, Joe?
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't have to worry about that. And another thing specific to your industry is many people will start with one property and end up with multiple entities in the future, right? It's very common. And once you have one business registered with Relay, you can actually register all of the other entities you
Wow.
own through the same set of credentials. So let's say, I own 6 different properties. I have 6 EINs. I can log into a screen that looks exactly like this. So all of my companies are in one spot. I can switch in between them, transfer funds in between them if I
Wow.
need to, but it's all centralized in one login.
Yeah, this is really cool. So you're saying if you have multiple LLCs, and there's a lot of real estate investors that do this,
Mm-hmm.
they might have one umbrella LLC and then an LLC for house deals, an LLC for land deals, an LLC for multifamilies or whatever, or different partnerships.
Yep.
So you have it all under one umbrella in Relay, but they're also treated like different accounts too, right?
Exactly. So although you log in once to access them all, they're all separated by EIN. So each EIN or LLC in this case would have their own 20 checking accounts. You can have your own 50 debit cards, their own connection to QBO. It's all separate. It's just easier to access.
Nice. That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right. What else? What other goodies do you have?
I know. I feel like I just keep pulling things out of my bag. Something new that we recently rolled out at Relay is an onboarding checklist. So I'm sure many people from your link, Joe, will be signing up and checking out Relay for the first time. And you might be wondering, how do I get started after I'm approved? So we've launched a onboarding checklist, and this is available at the top here. And this is going to have you go through steps to set up your entire Relay account. And what's really cool about this specifically for Profit First is you can see the first line item here is to create Relay accounts. And you'll see you can use a template like Profit First or Start Like Scratch. So when you go into this option, it's actually going to allow you to set up all of your Profit First accounts in one swipe.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. And you can select which one of those are wanting to be savings accounts, if any, and you can create them all within one button. So you can do the manual way or this way. Honestly, it doesn't matter. It's just more automation.
That's
and
cool.
Then you just keep going down the list to set everything up, which is pretty cool.
This looks really simple and easy, but I know there's somebody that's going to be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not good. I barely know how to turn a mouse on. So how are they, how do they get help if they need it to set this stuff up?
Yeah. So firstly, I would say go to our knowledge base here. Literally, you search a keyword and you can teach yourself how to do anything. But on a biweekly basis, we actually run a webinar going into some of the basics of Profit First also, but where it's a huge focus on how to utilize Relay as a small business owner. So it's basically doing the same thing we do today, just with people in the chat asking questions specific to their business. So that's an option for you as well to join with a bunch of other people wanting to utilize Relay too.
Nice.
So, and we always have recordings of those too. So it's pretty easy.
Very cool. Deanna, this has been great. Anything else you want to show us before we wrap it up?
I would just say that collaborating on Relay is really easy too. So if you have other business partners, staff, anybody you need to access your account, you can invite them at any time. You're in charge of the permission level, but this also works on the advisor side. So if you have a bookkeeper, a Profit First professional working with you can also give them access and control what that access looks like. So you can collaborate with anybody that you need to for your business.
Well, this is super cool. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Again, guys, joemccall.com/bank, joemccall.com/bank. Deanna, it's been super helpful. Appreciate you being here and putting up with my shenanigans and asking a million questions. I think this is pretty amazing. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for having me, Joe. I've got a million answers to your millions of questions, so it works for me. I think we make a good duo. But thank you so much for having me and letting me talk about Relay and Profit First.
All right. Thank you, Deanna. We'll see you. All right, guys, listen, go to joemccall.com/bank right now. You get a free $50. Oh, I forgot to ask. Let's see if she's still here. Deanna, how does that $50 gift thing work? Is it a gift certificate or does it go to their account or how does that work?
Yeah, so they have to use your link that you have posted here, sign up and get approved on Relay. They have to fund their account with $1 at least. You can fund it with more, of course, and then you'll get a deposit of $50 in your new Relay account shortly after that.
Good. Yeah. All right. Thank you again, Deanna. We'll see you later. Thanks, everybody. Go to joemccall.com/bank, and we'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching these videos. If you like my channel at all, please hit the subscribe button. Get the notification bell thing clicked so you can get notified when new videos come out. Really appreciate it. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, all right? Thank you.